Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to know about the file system in Unix. If you are in the IT field or thinking of getting into the IT field, then a deep understanding of Linux is very important for your job. So, let's start. As you all know, the system stores data in some disk or drives known as file systems. Some of the file system types are ext3, ext4, FAT, NTFS. NTFS is basically used in the Windows, FAT in some external drives such as pen drive, SD card. ext4 and ext3 are especially for Linux. And in Linux, unlike Windows, it stores everything in a file. A printer, a mouse, a keyboard, everything is a file in Linux which are arranged in some hierarchical order. Okay, so next, Linux file structure. All the files or subdirectories in the Linux are arranged in this order. It may vary from your distro to distro, but the overall idea remains same. First comes our root, then bin, opt, boot, root, dev, etc. Just read this image and keep it in your mind. We will discuss about this later. Okay, so now the description of files. At first comes the boot. Boot is the main file through which we can load the system. That means when we press the button to turn on our computer, then the boot file loads first and we can get into our system. Root is the directory of the main user, the root user, who has permission to do everything in the system. We will discuss about this in the later user management videos. And dev are the system devices such as your disk, CD-ROM, speakers, flash drive, keyboard, mouse, printer, etc. The etc files are the configuration files required by your computer to run the system properly. Bin is a folder that contains some programs that we can use every day. That means when you are using a program, you have to type the full path of the program to get into the system, and if it is in the bin, then we can just type the name of the program, and since bin is in our path, we can get the program. We will discuss about this also in the later. The sbin are the system commands or system files which are already present in the system during the boot. And proc are the running processes, that they are processes which are running in the computer. It sits in the memory and we can see through the PSID. And lib are the programming libraries of the C. As you all know that Linux is based on the C language, that's why all the libraries required by the Linux stays in the lib folder. And if we install any external library, then it also stays in the lib folder. Temp are the temporary files or commands or apps which we can use. When we shut down our computer, the temp folder gets cleaned. Home is a directory of the user where the user can keep their files, not the root user, but other users, not root. var are the system log files where the logs such as HTTP logs, SSH logs were kept in. Run are the system daemons that starts very early to store PID files. We will also come to know about the daemon in the later videos. Mount are the external file systems, that are if you connect a hard drive or any flash drive into your system or any network drive, then it gets stored in the mount folder. Media are the flash drives which stores the data from your USB port or any USB type file system. Okay, let's move forward now. Linux file types. So now here are some files and the symbol. Just keep the symbols in mind, it will help you a lot. We'll came to know about each of the type in later videos. And system path. This is a very important topic. There are two types of paths to navigate into the file system: absolute path and relative path. An absolute path always begins with a slash. This indicates a path that starts at the root directory. This is an example of an absolute path. Here it refers the HTTPD folder which is stored in the log, and the log is stored in the var. Var is present in the root. So we are just using the address in one line. Relative path cd/var, then we will get into the var folder, then we can cd into log folder, then we can cd into the httpd folder. Cd basically means the change directory, which you use to change it from one directory to the another in the terminal. So the basic difference between absolute and relative path means relative path is a breakdown address and absolute path is a one liner. Now navigating into the file system, there are basically three commands which we use to navigate into the file system: cd, pwd, ls. Now cd means the change directory, of which we use to move in from one directory to the another. Pwd means for the print working directory, which we use to know the directory which we are working in, and ls are used to list the commands. There are some attributes of ls. You can find those in the attached PDF below in the description. So now let's see this in our PC screen, how we can use to navigate into the system. At first we will know what directory we are working on. So pwd, that means the print working directory. Now you can see the name of the directory is /home/dev. Home is a user directory and dev is a user. Now I want to change the directory from home to desktop. So I will type cd desktop. See, we have changed the directory successfully. Now we are in the desktop directory, and here you can see that this is a relative path. That means we are just specifying cd into desktop. Now what if we want to go in our root directory? So we can type cd root. We have came to the root folder. Let's clear the screen. Let's see if we can get into the log directory. If we want to go into the log directory, there are two ways, just the absolute path and the relative path. So now let's first see the relative path. We can type cd/var to get into the var directory. Then we can type cd log to get into the log directory, which is present inside the var folder. Again we can type cd/var/log. Now we can get into the log directory. So this is the basic difference between the absolute and relative path. In relative path we have to write more lines in the terminal, and in absolute path there is just a one liner. Okay, if we type ls, just means the list, then we can see Apache 2 folder, apt folder, auth log, boot log. These are all the logs present. So now what if we want to see this in a structured way? ls-al. This -al is an attribute of ls. Now let's see. You can see that there are total 6068 files. Just look at this. We will discuss about this in later. 17 root. So that's how we can see all the files of folders present in a directory. Now copying and moving files and directories. Copying files, cp old file to new file. What this means? This means that we are copying an old file, the path of the old file space the path of the new file. Let's see this in our PC screen. Now moving the files, just the same command, mv old file to new file, the path. Now copying directories, here comes a different, the cp-r. When we are moving a directory from one path to another, then we should specify the -r attribute, or it will show an error. Moving directory, same mv-r. Let's see this in our PC screen. Okay, now let's see how we can copy a directory or a folder or file. So if we want to copy a folder or file, since we are in the root file system, we have to get into it as a root user. So I am typing sudo su to get as root. I can see the files. Okay, let's copy auth-log. I can copy auth-log with cp auth.log. Since we are in the same directory, you can just type the relative name. Now we have to type the absolute name or file or folder if we want to copy this. So cp /home/dev. See, this file is copied. Now let's move on to the file I have copied. Sorry. Now here you can see auth-log is copied. Now what if we want to change the name of the file or folder? So cp auth-log, since we want to copy auth-log, then same we want to rename it as auth_renamed.log. We are typing the old name and the new name, both are in the same directory, and pressing enter. See, the name is changed. Since we are using the cp command, that means it is creating another copy of the file with another name. If we used it with mv command, see, mv auth_renamed.log to auth_again renamed.log. See, it's renamed. Okay, now let's see how we can copy a folder. For copying a folder, cp-r. I want to copy the desktop. Okay, the desktop, and I want to place it in /opt. Okay, pressing enter, we can move into the opt file and see, here comes the desktop. So now what if we want to move the desktop folder to the root? So for moving it, we can type mv desktop and we want to move it to /root. See, it's moved. So we can type cd/root and we can ls here, and you can see the desktop. Here in my operating system, or I am using Kali Linux here, desktop is an syslink file. This means this is a link, or the link of this screen to this folder. We will discuss about this later. So now just keep a basic understanding that desktop is a link file, the link of this file to this folder. Okay. Now, directory listing attributes. Just have a look in this chart which I have attached. We will see this in our PC screen later for a better understanding. First, the type drwxxr, which I have told you in the previous slide. Just let me show you here. The file types. Hyphen means a regular file, D is a directory, L is a link. So let's move on. So when we type ls, or for listing the directory, then we can see that the drwxr. What this means? D means a directory which has a read and write permission. Read, write, execute. D. Now when we type ls, we can see this type of list, which is arranged in a haphazard way, but I have structured this for you for a better understanding. Now D means directory, as we have shown you in the slide back. D means a directory, R means we have the read permission, W means we have write permission, X means we have execution permission, and then comes XR and X. This means also the group permission for a group user, and then the user permission who the user can run. Now for directory listing, I can type ls-al. Here you can see that the list I provided to you and the result came here are the same. Here the type, then the links, owner, group, size, and month of creation, date of creation, and time of creation. At last, name of the file. Now creating files and directories. For creating files, we have a command touch, nano, vi, and for creating directories we have mkdir. We will not cover the vi in this video as vi is a more advanced text editor. We can use touch and nano. Let's go to our PC screen and see how can we use touch, nano, and mkdir command. For creating a file we can use touch test file, and for seeing this we can use cat test file. See, this is blank, so touch creates a blank file where we have run the command. Now if we want to have some text in our file, we can use nano. Nano is a text editor. We can use nano test file 2, and here we can write this is a test file. Press Ctrl O to save the file and Ctrl X to exit. So now if we cat test file and 2, see, this is a test file. So you can use touch or nano to create a file. Vim is not considered in this video since Vim is a more advanced type of text editor. So here's the thing I forgot to include in the PDF. You can use rm to delete a file. Now if we want to delete rm test file, see, it's deleted. Now if I want to delete rm test file 2, now if we ls, it's blank, all the files are deleted. Now let's create a folder. For creating a folder you can use mkdir command. Mkdir means make directory. So mkdir, and I want to name this as test dir. See, here's the directory came. Now you can cd into the test dir and ls, it's blank. Okay, now let's delete this directory. rm -r. If when we are using a directory, you have to specify -r before every command, such as move, copy, delete, everything. So rm -r test dir. Now ls, you can see it's deleted. Now the color definition. You have seen previously that there are some colors which are shown when I have typed ls in the PC screen. Now what this color means. Blue means it's a directory, green means it has executable permission, sky blue means it's a symbolic link. We have nothing to do with the symbolic link as it is a more advanced topic. Yellow with black background, this means this is a device folder. Pink means this is an image file. Red means it is an archive or a tar file. Red with black background means the link is broken. It is so you can unable to use the file or folder. Now how can we find a specific file or directory in our whole operating system? It's very disturbing to just go to each and every folder to find a file. So now there are some commands which you can use: find, locate, and varies. we'll see this in our PC screen. So let's move. If you want to find a file, for example, if I want to find /var, I can type find /var and the result came. It's a huge list since I have just tried to find /var. So you got an idea, right, that how can we use the var command. Now let's see locate. Locate var. See, here is the var. Now again, if I want to locate root, see, here comes all the files with the name root. Again, if I want to locate desktop, see, here comes all the files with the name desktop in them. Thank you for your attention, friends. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed this, let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to get the PDF file which I have attached below in the description. Go through that and you will understand each and every command or attributes of every command which we can use. If you have any doubts, just let me know through the comments.